Morning everybody, Elsa here from Bulverde, Texas. It is June the 20th and I wanted to show you I've got a 8-frame Langstroth hive set up ready for a new nuke that I'm going to go down to Somerset, Texas and pick up from the bee place where I got my first nuke from. For those of you who don't know, a nuke is just a way of saying nucleus. It is a package of, or not really a package of bees, it is 5 frames of bees and a queen, and they're already building brood and comb. And the other way you can install new bees into a hive is using something called a package, which is literally loose bees in a box with a queen. For my purposes, I started with a nuke. I felt it was fairly easy. All you had to do is open it up, take the frames out, and put it in the new box with empty frames. So I'm just going to stick with that method. What can I tell you about picking up the bees? Well, we're going to bring a bee suit, a pair of gloves, and a separate hat and veil, just in case I need them. Last time I went down there into the apiary, tons of bees flying around, but fairly calm, and I didn't feel like we needed it. But I am bringing the equipment just because we are driving over an hour to pick up these bees, and God forbid something would happen and I don't have the proper equipment to deal with it. So that's just in the trunk of my car. The bees themselves are going to go on the back seat in the nuke, and I'll show you that box when we pick it up. It's a plastic sealed box. The bees can't get out. But I am going to pop it on a light sheet and then fold the sheet over, kind of wrap it up a little bit lightly so they're not suffocating, but more so if there is a straggler on the nuke and I don't realize it, that I'm not going to be bothered by it when I'm going 80 miles an hour down the highway. So driving into the apiary, we'll hopefully turn on our camera so you can see what that looks like when we pick up the nuke. This particular vendor has it really well organized. You get a time slot, you drive in, it's a round circle driveway, there are beehives and nukes everywhere. You tell them what you want and they hand it to you and you pop it in and you're gone. Behind me I have a 8-frame Langstroth, I said. I ordered this from Man Lake. I did not go with Flow Hive just because I'm a little strapped for cash and I didn't want to spend that sort of money. And I thought it would be interesting to see what the difference would be down the road. So let's get on the road. I'll be back with you when we are pulling into the bee place to pick up our bees. Okay. Back here, everybody. Before I run out to the bee yard to pick up those bees, I realized I have an empty nuke in my shed, so I pulled it out. Just so you know, we have JD behind us and Whiskey hanging out, if you see some movement there. But I wanted to kind of show it to you because I was a little nervous about the whole nuke situation when I first went to get them. I looked up Pro Nuke. The vendor told me, oh, we use Pro Nukes, and I looked them up and I saw those tabs right there, and I have really weak grip strength. It's not uncommon for me to have to ask my husband to help me pry open something, and he had flat out told me there was absolutely no way he was going to help me with the bees. It wasn't his thing and I was on my own, which I totally understand, but I was kind of imagining in my brain that I couldn't open this container and I'd be in my bee suit, and what was I going to do, and what if I pried it open and jostled it and angered the bees. And it turned out it's extremely easy to open. You literally just pry, and this is my non-dominant hand, it's just like a Tupperware bin and it opens up very easily. When you get the nuke, it's full of frames with bees, and the whole idea is you just lift those frames out of this tub and put it into your hive. They do recommend that you install as soon as you possibly can. I have seen recommendations where people have said, well, you know, you need to let them settle down for a couple of hours, so just put the nuke right beside the hive or where you're planning on putting the hive, and open up the doors and let them just kind of settle down before you move them. I did do that last time, and that was also a learning curve. I want to show you. For the life of me, could not figure out how to let them out. I have a few dead bees from the original transport. It's actually kind of, for a newbie, it's kind of creepy to see these because they're all literally crawling here trying to get out. But I'm going to show you how to do this, and you're going to laugh at me and wonder, like, how dumb are you, lady, that you couldn't figure this out? So to let the bees out, because I really struggled. I could not figure out how to let them out. To let them out, you just literally push this up all the way, and it squeezes that open, and then they can fly in and out. I know, not hard to believe I have a master's degree, but anyway, so that's how you open up this particular nuke. So if for some reason you can't install it immediately, or you choose to wait for a couple of hours to let things settle down, let them all kind of chill out after the ride, that is how you open this nuke up. All right, so now I really am off to the bee yard or the apiary, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, everybody, we're almost to the bee yard or the apiary in beautiful Somerset, Texas, and we'll be pulling in here shortly, and you can get a peek at what a bee yard looks like and how we pick up those bees. Off-roading. This place is literally called the bee place. Oh, not a lot of bees. Last time I was here, this whole yard was full of hives and bees, and they just don't have a lot out today. So that's cool. All right, okay, so we are on the road. We just rolled into that yard. That yard was a lot less busy than earlier in the spring. I was just told that they've sold out of bees for this year. The nuke is all wrapped up in that sheet. You saw the box that I showed you earlier on the video, and now they just placed that in the sheet, and we flipped the sheet around, made a little sandwich. There was one or two bees just hanging out from the colony that didn't get in before they closed up the nuke, but pretty much that is all there is to it. That I'll keep the car fairly cool on the way home, and then when we get home, we'll unwrap that nuke, take it out to the hive, set it down for a couple of hours with the door open, let them just kind of get used to where they're at, and then I'll go out and actually move the frames in the nuke into the new hive. So we'll be back in a little minute or two, and we'll get that nuke installed into the hive. Okay, so we're back at the homestead. As you can see, I've got the nuke in place. It's kind of humid. It was a little bit of a rough ride home. I don't know if you guys can see, but they're like in bee jail. So I'm gonna let them out and chill for a few minutes, and then I'm going to install the frames. Alrighty, so you remember what I showed you? We're just going to lift this latch up. Hopefully we can get it up. and out, and there they go. All right, so we're gonna let everybody chill out for a little bit, might get my smoker going, and we'll go from there. Okay, I got my smoker going. I'm in full bee gear with gloves today, just because these guys are understandably upset. So let's open up this nuke and see if we can get it installed. So the big trick to it's not really a trick, but the rule for the nuke is that you install the frames in the exact same order and the exact same configuration as they are currently in the nuke, because bees have an order to everything and you don't want to upset them. I've got my feeder bucket out and it's leaked a little, and some bees have already found it and they're already eating away. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that leak though. I'm going to maybe have to get a different bucket and try that. But let's just give them a puff of smoke. Let them know we're coming. Me pop this down here. We don't want to put our smoker on anything wood because it's hot and it'll burn. Take our lid off. Take our inner cover off. And there's our box that we're going to put them in. Oh shoot, I forgot the extra frames, so I'm going to have to run back to the workshop and get the extra frames. I think I'll do that now so I don't have to open it up again. Okay, hold on. Okay, apparently I wasn't filming. Duh. I have 3 frames, empty frames put in there. I just popped the lid on the nuke and there are bees pouring out. I'm going to grab the smoker and give them a smoke. And wow, nice colony. Nice colony. So we're going to lean this right beside the hive where we're putting them. And I'm going to go put these frames in and maybe look for the queen. Okay, so next time I need to bring a cameraman. That was an intensely strong colony. Like, I probably got 3 times more bees than I did in my nuke at the beginning of the spring. I'm guessing these guys have probably been in that nuke for a while. Just so many bees, which is great. Lots of drones. I tried to find the queen, couldn't find it. Anyway, there's the final setup. The brood box have the new frames in it. The box above, the brown box, is got my feeder, upside down feeder in it, and we're gonna just let them settle down because they are upset. I would say this colony is maybe even more strong than my flow hive colony right now. We shall see. Maybe I'll check the flow hive. Well, the name of the website is Misadventures in Beekeeping. I had good intentions on showing you guys how to put in those nukes frames, but honestly I was taken aback by how many bees there were in that nuke compared to the first nuke I got. Same vendor, 3 times as many bees, and they were not pleased. And for the first time since I've started this adventure, I got a sting. Boo. I didn't have my gloves on, I didn't take my own advice, and they were just super upset. So I don't know if I can show you. I got a sting right there. You can see the red dot, hopefully. Anyway, they say if you go into beekeeping and you think you're never going to get stung, that you're really wrong, and that just proved it. Lessons learned. Take your own advice. The bees are not happy when they're being moved around. you should probably be in full protective gear and not take your gloves off to film things. Oops, took one for the team. Anyway, I put the frames in just so you're aware, and then you flip the nuke over and you give it one big shake, and all the bees fall in, and then the rest of them you leave beside the hive. They'll find their way in, and I put the roofs on and the feeders on, and we're gonna let them be. We'll check on them tomorrow. Hopefully they'll figure out where the door is on that robbing screen. And now I'm wondering, looking at how healthy that 5-frame nuke was, I mean, it was full of brood, full. There wasn't a cell to be found. I was glad to see there wasn't any swarm cells. Those are gigantic queen cells when they decided they're too big and they need to leave. So there weren't any queen cells or swarm cells, so that's good. Hopefully they'll just start building out comb and they'll be happier in that box. But what I meant to say is I wonder how healthy my first hive is, because it just doesn't seem to be as full of bees as that one was. And I popped the lid off of the flow hive just to take a look at that second box to see if they're building out, and they are, but not super quickly. So I'll let everybody rest, and I'm gonna go put some ice on my sting. It hurts a little bit, but I'm glad to tell you that I am not allergic to bee stings, anaphylactically at least, because I would be dead by now. Anyway, it's been an interesting day. I hope you learned a few things, what to do, what not to do, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.